Hello everyone and welcome to another video. In today's video, Max has a General Paediatrics appointment at the Women's and Children's Hospital. And a few weeks ago when Max was in hospital with gastro and we stayed on the Rose Ward, we met up with the General Paediatric doctor and he was saying that he wanted us to pull Max out of childcare for about a month or so, just so he can get completely better and then we can get a baseline level of his health at the moment. And then from there, we're gonna have a look at what we're gonna do from here in regards to Max's recovery. So at the moment, we're just finding a park and we're gonna head into the hospital. So guys, we've just finished with our appointment with the General Paediatrician. So what happened in that appointment was, first of all, we started talking about how Max was going since he was in on Rose Ward with the gastro. Briefly talked about what's been talked about with other doctors in other departments and basically sort of where we're at with Max's care. She brought up if anyone has spoken to us about the TPT tube and what that would involve and how we sort of felt about it, because she was talking to the consultant that we saw on Rose Ward and she knows that he brought it up, and just sort of how we felt about that and what sort of investigations we've done ourselves. Before coming into this appointment, we were very much sort of against Max having that, just because we know some of the restrictions that come along with it.
Essentially they say it's a step back, but at this point he needs it for his lungs to get better. At the moment we're trying to prevent any permanent damage that will follow him for the rest of his life.
And I think once that was sort of explained and with our general pediatrician consultant, she's very familiar with Max's case. She's been with us for quite a while, and yeah, I think just someone that's sort of a bit more understanding with what's happening is probably good coming from her than just a doctor that we've just seen once or twice, and just getting her opinion on his recovery and what we should do from here. I think with all the other doctors that we've spoken to, they've kind of been umming and ahhing with let's try this and let's try that, and it's good to hear someone's opinion where like this is why we're doing this and this is why I think we should do it.
She still definitely gave us the option, but
yep.
she said I think this is what needs to be done. So you know, we're still hesitant. There's a lot.
We're more open to exploring that now, and sort of
and her explaining kind of the process, how it works, what happens if he pulls it out, because it is something that is x-ray inserted, so they need a radiologist present to have that inserted. So if he pulls that out on a weekend, that's it, it's out. So and if that's the case, he would just have the nasogastric tube reinserted until we can see them again.
So even if it's like 3 o'clock on a Saturday, I'd have to put the tube back in, we'd ring up whoever's on call at the hospital, and then they would sort of have a look at when we could book in with radiology to get the tube put back in.
To give you an idea, he has pulled out his tube 3 times this month. So, you know, it's not something that we're just going, oh, what if he pulls it out? Because he's never done that. He does that frequently, and it's a stressful thing for us when he does do it.
Yeah, I mean, just knowing what could happen if I put it in wrong is yeah, it's not something that I want to do a lot if I don't have to. So after that, we had a look at sort of how is he going development wise. She checked over him and just did some obs. She said that he was doing pretty well.
Yeah, I think so. He's still small for his size, but he's tracking well. In terms of his development, he's really showing a lot of great signs. Like he's very alert, he's very engaging. If anything, it's his physical I don't know, physicalness, that's not a word. Like
how he's developing physically.
Yeah, like he's a bit behind the 8 ball on that, but that's because,
and we knew that with his low tone.
Yeah, and there's reasons for that. But with that, it was suggested with neurophysio that we look through NDIS for extra funding to get him some extra therapies, and the general medicine doctor, she's in full support of that, and she's going to write a letter just saying that we're trying to prevent any further delays.
It's very preventative at this stage,
is what she told us. So she's on board to get him some extra help, which is really great. It gives him more opportunities to have it more frequently. It also gives us more flexibility because we'd be working with locals in the area, so we could cancel it easier, we could get in easier. But
then also not having to come to the hospital for his therapy appointments. And she was saying, like, you know, we could do some hydrotherapy just at a pool like closer to home. We won't have to come to the hospital and use their swimming pool and stuff like that, so it'd be more convenient on our terms. But saying that, he would have to be globally delayed or showing signs of globally delayed, and the consultant was looking for signs of that today. She was saying at this point it's good just to start the paperwork and get that submitted, because this process could take a long time, and she's going to be working with our neurophysiotherapist just to get that paperwork pushed through, which is good. So we're looking at that at the moment.
So we brought up his appointment next week with the ENT and how when he was on the Rose ward, and the doctor went down and spoke to ENT, and they said they wouldn't perform the camera down the nose that goes further than he did last time, which is done under general medicine. It's like a laryngoscopy or something. Yeah,
it's like an endoscopy or laryngoscopy.
But it's for the airways.
Yeah, it goes into the airways, not the digestive tract.
Yeah. And they told us that it wouldn't be done before 12 months old anyway, and it was kind of like, oh, okay, well, that shut us down. But the general medicine doctor, she said that's not true. They will do it if there's...
They don't like to do it, but if there's concerning things happening, then it would force them to do it. And from what she can see, she thinks it warrants going ahead with that procedure. So she's going to flick an email through to the ENT consultant just to get the ball rolling with that.
So that's really good, because now we go into that appointment with the backing of general medicine, respiratory, speech pathology, so it gives us a little bit more push, I suppose, if they're hesitant. Obviously we are hesitant about putting our son under general medicine.
Oh, absolutely.
Under general.
We don't want to be putting him under any more risk than we have to, because it's not something... There's always risk with any type of surgery. So, but
there's the potential that if this is a physical thing, it could be repaired, and he could be getting better so much sooner.
It means that he wouldn't be on the TPT tube. It'd mean that, you know, he'd recover a lot quicker, and then he'll be on the road to becoming just a normal boy.
She also went through the airway study results with us, because a doctor actually hasn't gone through that with us properly.
We've only got bits and pieces from our GP.
And other doctors going, oh yeah, you know, yeah, that's something that will get better eventually.
And along with our own just research, Googling and stuff like that. So
she did a diagram and just showed us what's collapsing, and that explains a lot of his noisy breathing and a lot of his cough. But it also it makes him a lot more susceptible to like when he gets a cold or anything like that. That's why he's getting so much worse.
So his immune system is down. So
it's like he doesn't have the
strength.
No, like the the equipment. Like,
Yeah.
you know, his lungs aren't strong. Essentially, the cartilage is weak, so he doesn't have the muscular strength in his lungs to fight off illness.
Yeah.
So when he gets the common cold, he could get pneumonia, like things like that. So it has to be taken very seriously. So she said, without a doubt, get him the flu vax and vaccinate our whole family, which we will be doing. I know my mum's very concerned about if the coronavirus takes off in Adelaide. That I would have to, she says hibernate, just do not leave the house if that's the case. And if it does come to Adelaide, 100% I'll pull the kids out of childcare, because Max, they say that coronavirus presents as like pneumonia, and that it's people who already have existing conditions or aren't as strong and that are dying, and Max has pre-existing medical conditions, so that's something we really do have to seriously take into consideration. Hopefully it doesn't take off, but winter is coming.
And winter is coming.
Hilarious. I should have said it more doomsday, like winter is coming.
So with Max getting the TPT tube, it'll be a similar process than what we had when he had the nasal gastric tube first put in. So we'll be admitted onto one of the wards, and he'll have the tube put in, and then we'll have the HENS clinic there to help us and train us with how to administer the feeds. Until they're confident with us going home with Max, similar sort of situation to what we've previously had. So again, it'll be, they reckon, 1 to 2 nights in on a ward. From what we've seen and sort of our general knowledge of you know, these tubes and feeding and stuff like that,
I think we'll be out in one.
Yeah, we're confident that it'll just take 1 night. I think we're fairly cluey with you know, the feeding process and how things have to happen.
Like eager to learn, like we don't want to be at the hospital, so we are like, yep, all right, give it to us, we'll try. So we're just waiting to hear back, because they have to make sure a radiologist is free to do that. So it'll be probably next week, or not the week after, because Charles has work commitments and we can't really get out of that, but the following week. So it'll be soon. But really we're getting him prepared for colder weather, childcare. It's going to be different experience, definitely.
Absolutely. Alright guys, so that's the end of the video today. So if you're interested to see what we have going on, look out for the upcoming videos. Better yet, subscribe and hit that notification bell, and we'll see you in the next one.
I don't know what I said. Gives it more opportunities to happen more frequently, but also I could look like the kid from Matilda, but skinny.
Matilda.
What is it? Do you want me to do it because someone's walking?